Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss how we can help ensure the bourbon industry understands the regular bourbon drinker. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Bold Man Bay, Bo Cumberland, and Kathy Cool.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, everybody.
Hey there.
Hey, so yeah, we're going to talk about this whole concept and, exactly what I mean by that. I mean, a lot of this comes around to the loss of my good friend, Danny Kennard, and the fact he's just a regular bourbon drinker. And how do we make sure that everyday bourbon drinker like that, he's a blue collar guy, he's a, plumber, drives a snowplow. How do you make sure that the bourbon industry cares about that type of bourbon fan? Because those are really, truly what the bourbon industry is made of. Just regular, everyday, normal people, not people on a podcast who have a voice that can be heard by, the number of downloads you get. I'm talking about just an everyday, regular person like Danny. And so we're going to talk about that. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, McNew said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, McNew?
All right. So my husband watches a lot of baseball, and I vaguely watch, it's in the background for me, but I am definitely into a walk-up song when they go to bat. So I want to know, what's your walk-up song? Or if you walked into a room, what song do you want playing for you?
Okay. This is good. Walk-up song music. Yeah. Okay. Boy, that would
need like 3 weeks to prepare for this.
I would, yeah.
I wrote this question a week ago, and I still don't know what I want to pick.
And it feels like it would probably change season to season for me.
Ooh, okay. Well, season now. What song do you guys want right now?
I know what mine is. Right out to go.
Okay.
Bringing sexy back.
Oh God, that's terrible.
Yep.
That's terrible.
I say it all the time. I'm bringing sexy back.
Yeah. Okay. I would probably have
put that in your memory, Steve. When I walk into the store next time, I expect to hear it.
Steve always hits play as soon as you walk in.
That's right.
To play.
Yeah, that's true. I think I would have Misraloo by Dick Dale, if you guys know what that song is. It's the theme song of Pulp Fiction, so that's a great surf song. I like the guitar playing on it. I got to meet Dick Dale. I talked to Dick Dale on the phone. I went to one of his concerts and sat in the front row. I mean, I was a Dick Dale fan, and he was a cool dude. So I'd try to play that one.
You just said Dick 4 times.
Well, that's the man's first name.
That's his favorite.
May he rest in peace. May he rest in peace. Yeah. How about you? Did anybody else? I hate to call someone out here because it puts you on the spot. So, Bo, have you come up with something?
No, but mine would probably be any song by the old Pantera. Like back in their glory days, they had some pretty good walkout songs.
Okay, Pantera. Okay, all right.
Harry Underwood does a song with Ludacris called "Champions."
Oh,
and
that's a good one.
Cool.
That's going to be your walk-up song. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take that one on short notice.
All right, McNew.
All right, so I think it's got to be Shania Twain's I Feel Like a Woman. But the intro, when she says, "Let's go, girls," because you just want to party as soon as you hear that.
That's
Yeah,
terrible.
let's go, girls. You gotta,
Absolutely
it's fun.
horrible. You just wasted a whole segment there. Right?
Hey, a tidbit about that song.
We can have
Yeah, what do you got
vote
about
on
that
who
one?
picked the best walk-up song. We can do a poll later when the show comes
Sure.
out.
A tidbit about that song. Do you guys remember the Kyle Steele that used to work for Royce Neely?
Yes, sure.
So every once in a while here at the house, we'll do some karaoke or whatever. And
Mhm.
every single time he would come over to sing karaoke, that was his lead out karaoke song.
That was his song, huh?
Every Friday night. Yep.
It's interesting.
And it's just as glorious to see that fall into place as you would imagine it would be.
All right, gang. Well, guess what? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with McNew. McNew, what do you got there?
I have some Four Roses small batch.
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's going to be tough to beat. We'll pass on Bo. He's on medication and stuff. Kathy, what do you got?
Since we're talking about how to get the common man heard, I'm going to open my Wild Turkey 101.
Excellent choice. Oh,
There's so
good
much
cork
sweet,
pop.
so much effort.
So much squeak and slosh. Oh my gosh, sound like a wave opener. There was a tidal wave of whiskey in that thing. So McNew still has the lead. Next up is Old Man Bay.
I am going to have Corsets, Whips, and Whiskeys by Journeyman Distillery in, where are they? Three Oaks, Michigan.
Sure. Easy for you to say. All right. What do you got? Okay.
I don't know why I can't do this. Every time I've been on your show, I cannot get that.
It wasn't as good as McNew's. It was decent. It was sloshy though too. So I have definitely not an everyman pick. This is a media only pick from Pinhook. So just the opposite of what Kathy did. She went with a nice sensible one. I did not. Mine was decent. I stuck the landing. No slosh, but McNew's was a cannon, so she clearly wins that thing. So cheers.
Cheers, McNew.
Cheers.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about just the everyday average bourbon drinker. And can the industry do something to ensure that the voice is heard of those people? We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Freddie Mills, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about how we can ensure the average bourbon drinker is heard.
Yes, we are. So I just, the loss of Danny and this idea of, I don't know that the bourbon industry cares about those people, at least on an individual basis. As a total group, total totalitarian, yes. Yeah, that's a big segment of their business. But I think, when it comes down to it, what's important to them? Corporations and, corporate dollars. Can we get, Delta to buy it on every flight, those type of things, or, whiskey buyers for places like Costco, or, those are people that are important, that they certainly, are interested in making sure that they're happy. Clubs. That's an area that gets some attention and some love from bourbon. Bourbon media, I have to say that someone like myself that's involved in stuff like that, the bourbon industry wants to make sure that, you're taken care of when you go to the distilleries. But just an everyday person like someone like Danny, again, if those people all go away, they quit drinking, Jim Beam, or they quit drinking, you name a brand, Four Roses, those companies are out of business. They need people, like that. But in reality, how do people who are just everyday fans, don't have a podcast, aren't buyers for a big, chain box store like a Costco, or a big grocery chain like Kroger or something? How do they make their voice heard? Is there a way to do that?
Insane stalking-like letter campaigns.
Uh-huh.
But when you say their voice heard, do you mean like how do they get change in the industry, or how do they get the opportunity to walk up and say, "Hey," to Brent Elliott, kind of thing? I mean, what do you
think
mean?
All of it, all of the above. Yeah. So how does just a regular everyday bourbon drinker, kind of be recognized? How is that possible? Is it possible?
Well, I don't believe it is within the big market. I don't believe it'll ever be. In the craft distillery, you go over there, and I can walk in right now and say, "Hi, Adam," and he knows who you are. And I guess I'm fortunate for that, but I don't believe in a commercial in the big
heritage brand. You're saying it's not possible.
There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to ascend from being an average drinker to somehow standing out, because there's millions of faces that go by them every day.
Right.
Do they want to be heard, or are they just happy?
Well, and everybody is always in their ear as well, right? Somebody's always in their ear saying, "Hey, can I get samples? Hey, this," you know what I mean?
Right.
Every day. Do they really want to hear all that? I mean, they're busy people too. I don't know.
Well, they seem to placate those voices, though. It seems like, it does, because seriously, open up your Instagram and see the people that they send samples to, and judge yourself. Did that distillery spend their money well by sending that individual their whiskey?
That's marketing, though, right, Steve? That's social media, that's followers, that's engagement, and that's not real. That's not real engagement. It's just,
right.
Oh, you have 20,000 followers. Oh, well, then I need to get it to you. Does that make them better than you or me or Kathy or McNew? No.
So here's an idea, heritage brands or anyone who's listening, because we know you do.
Right.
Randomly pick 1,000 bourbon drinkers in the country, and do a campaign for a year where you make them special.
Yes, I agree.
And that would
they can't be social media influencers. They can't be.
No.
I've got a following. You know what? That works against you in this world. What's either you're not on social media, or you're not trying to hawk items to get free stuff, and just pick out the regular average bourbon drinker and get them from across the country, because you can do things with individuals now from across the country with technologies like Zoom and things. It doesn't have to be expensive where you're dragging them from around the country or have the cost of travel and things like that. There's things that you can do. I think that would be a good idea. I think that would be cool.
I was going to
touch them. It would touch their friends. It would engage them the fingers go out. It's the butterfly effect, and that would make them special to more than just those 1,000 people.
Right. I agree. So, say for our example, this had been started a couple years ago. Danny Kennard applied for that, and gets that. We would all know about that. When we'd be asking, what kind of stuff are they doing? What are they asking you? And what's coming out of these meetings, Danny? I think that would be a cool thing. I think that would be a great way to engage your true loyal consumer base, people that aren't typically heard. I think that's an awesome idea.
I have to say, because of people like you, Steve, and with my sign making and stuff, I've got to experience some things that most people probably would never get to. I've met a lot of people in the bourbon industry, and that's been all great. But I am a average guy, right? But Old Elk, I'm a fan, and I have a special relationship with the people, but they did bring me when I went to Old Elk and I delivered their sign to them. We went to lunch and had cocktails, and they sat down with me and was asking me questions. And they're like, "So what else can we do, Matt?" And it was just unbelievable,
Right.
It's not, but everybody can't do that.
Right. But, my point, obviously the loss of Danny is going to change my life forever. It's something that will continue to sting for the rest of my life. But I just look at that and, I was making posts about it. And boy, if one distillery, because let me tell you something, Danny would have spent every fucking dollar that he had on their products. And he didn't have a lot of money. Danny wasn't fucking rich. He's a guy who worked he had to account for every dollar because he has expenses of running a household. He had 4 kids who, they're adults, so it wasn't like, but every dollar that he had was spent on bourbon, whether that was travel to go to distilleries, whether it was buying bottles, all of his money, all of his fun, all of his entertainment dollars went to bourbon. The guy passes away. What if a distillery would have sent some flowers? Cost him $40. What do you think that would have meant to? What do you think that would have meant to the bottom line of a heritage brand? I'm not going to call any heritage brand now because it wouldn't be right. But what do you think that would have meant to the bottom? Nothing.
Nothing.
What would that have meant to his family?
Yeah, but what? 291, right?
Yeah.
They
291 stepped up. Yeah, it's 291
Yeah,
stepped up in a big way, but they're not a heritage brand. They're back to that relationship. You can get that relationship by going local, going craft. And he had a special relationship with 291. He's out there a couple times, including their 10th anniversary. And yeah, maybe that resets, and maybe if Heritage is listening to this is the kind of things that's going to, because we saw it in craft beer. Craft beer was a joke when it started. That was, my God, that was bad beer that they were making. And then the big beer didn't think about, now who's running beer now? It's craft beer. That's who runs beer. That's where all, and you can kind of see.
That's been all gobbled up by the big guys anyway.
Right. But you kind of can start to see this happening in big bourbon. The same thing is happening. They're starting to gobble up a little bit, but for the most part, it's still small distilleries. But they're all the innovation. Name one thing that you think that Heritage Bourbon has innovated in the last 10 years. One thing that there's not a goddamn thing that they didn't pull from craft whiskey. Any the finishings and double barreling, all this shit is being done in craft, and then they see it being successful and they grab onto it.
Same thing in beer
and grains. Yeah,
beer did the same thing. All the craft breweries we saw, especially here in St. Louis, saw it. All these craft breweries come up, and then they start making their niche things, and then you start seeing the big boys doing it too, and you're like, oh, well, now they're trying to do what the craft guys are doing, and it's never going to work.
Right. So I don't know. Engage everyday consumer, and in different ways. I think you need to get creative. Big brands, if you want to stay the big brands.
Yes, Steve. So I was going to say smaller events. Like the first time I met Danny was at an event in Indianapolis. You had sent me to write an article, and he pops up and says, "Hey, are you McNew?" And I was like, "Maybe." But he was there because Misty found tickets on Eventbrite, and they were maybe like $15, $20 tickets. It wasn't one of these big festivals that was like $200 for a ticket, and you're going to spend $1,000 on a weekend on a hotel and everything else. Smaller events gets you your everyday people, and they are worth your time because he's going to find something he loves that he's never tasted before, and he's going to go buy some bottles. Like, smaller one-day events.
Bourbon boom was
are a
built
ticket.
on that.
Yeah.
You're damn right, McNew, because the bourbon boom was built on that. The small batch rollout. Beam
Yes.
hits the road, takes the master distiller from out from behind the
Absolutely.
stills, puts Booker No, and then you see all the other distillers. They hit the road and they go out and they meet with the fans. The people are that's kind of gone away these days. They
you
do
really
the
think so?
big festival. Yes, I do. Small events. Name one small event.
Small
where-
events, yeah.
Where,
But,
where
Oh,
distillers come in here into this market. I'm not talking about the St. Louis Bourbon Festival or any bourbon festival. That's a big event where I'm talking about an intimate engagement where there's going to be 40 whiskey fans there.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
something small, or it's like a one-day thing. They're not like spending half their weekly paycheck to buy a damn ticket. I'm like, $20 is nothing, but that's making you probably hundreds of dollars because they're going to go buy multiple bottles. It's well worth their time, and they forget that.
Yeah.
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 I was
think
just
they could
thinking
do
like Freddie No and Fred, they're always so nice and gracious with their time to have a conversation with you. I don't care who you are. I've seen them at the Bourbon Festival last year. And of course, it was at the Bourbon Festival. But that few people that got to have that a minute with them and just to have a conversation, they'll remember it for the rest of their lives. And Jim Beam will be sitting on their shelf.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the reward that's out there if you engage just the everyday person. I think that you get loyalty. And loyalty, I think, is a coveted thing these days because there's a lot of options out there for sure. So
Absolutely.
Well, I want to throw something else out there too.
Sure.
if I can.
And when he says if I can, it's not that I won't allow him, it's whether he physically can. He's
Yeah,
fading
yeah.
from his COVID. Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, you're talking about the brands doing these things, like not doing these big events, but doing small events or whatever. But also, it's also the responsibility of the media influencers. And what I mean by that is, if you, Steve, if you say I got 200,000 followers, right? So Jim Beam let me come to your place and do a podcast and meet with Freddie and do whatever. You have two choices. You can say, Jim Beam, I have 200,000 followers that are going to hear this story and see whatever. And of course, they're going to let you in. But at that point, do you just ride the backs of those 200,000 followers and you get all the glory, you get all the fame, you get to do all the cool stuff?
This is a good point.
Or do you bring people with you? And, I've seen both sides of that coin in the, bourbon influencers. I've seen people like you who will, you've never said, hey, I'm going to do this alone, unless it's like a invite, by invite only or whatever. But anything you do, it's like, I want me and my closest friends to go do that. So,
and we try to do that. You're so right. This is a great point. I want to let you continue to make it because it is definitely something that I built a cornerstone on. I mean, we do this bourbon behind the scenes where we try to go out to distilleries and we make it available to all of our people who are just regular people. That's one of the coolest things that I've done, and that was one of the most touching things in Danny's passing to hear his family talk about what all these things meant to him. And, that's that, but yeah, I 100% agree with you, Bo. What do you do with that? And hopefully I'm always a good steward of those relationships and making it available to the people who've made whatever I am. That's always my idea is to do that, to get our groups involved and stuff like that. But go ahead, Bo. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's basically all I want to say. But I just feel like you've done a great job of, even when we were in Colorado this summer, we're filming and we're in these distilleries and we had a crew with us that they were just fans. That's all they were. They were fans, but they got to go in and we put them to work. I mean, they were setting up lights and setting up tripods and stuff too, but it was fun for everybody. But they got to,
right,
bear witness to things that the average bourbon drinker is not going to be able to see unless it's for the generosity of somebody like you who has your foot in the bourbon influencer, and you say, I'm not in this alone. I'm bringing my family with me.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make that point.
I am a weird person in that I want to hang out with just everyday people. I don't want to hang out. I hate rich people. I don't want to go to events or nice restaurants where only rich people. I don't like that stuff. People think that's the greatest thing you could do, to go sit at the Derby and be with the rich people, or go to a fancy restaurant where you got to wear a tie. And I don't want that. I want to be surrounded by people like dandies. That's the people I want to talk to, and hopefully you guys. I don't believe that's you guys are my people. This is the people I want to hang out with. I don't want to hang out with a bunch of people who have corporate jobs that are every day fucking walk over people's heads so they can get them where they're. I want to hang out with people who are just hardworking and like their bourbon as a way to meet with other people that also are fans. That's who I like.
And hey, Boca, if I can expand on what you were saying too, because that's a really good point. It's also the responsibility of the bourbon clubs, the whiskey clubs that are out there, and these people are paying to be Patreon members or what have you, that have those connections to go be able to do barrel picks and blending events and stuff like that. They should also step up and
engage everyone. Yeah.
And bring
as opposed to, just as Bose was very good in saying it, and almost was left out of this whole thing. But yeah, bring them in and not just make it, this just furthers my power as the person who's in charge of this organization. I get more stuff I get to do, and it's for me and my friends' inner circle, or me and my family. That's it. And we see that stuff out there, don't we?
I think a great one to look at is Nate out in Colorado with 5280. That guy, he is super amazing, and he's made so many contacts in the bourbon world. Of course, now with Hidden Barn, and he takes 5280. They fly them their membership. They get something out of their membership. He flies them out to Kentucky when he has to go, and takes them on those events and shares that event with them, where it's something that somebody would never been able to do before. Right. And it just said, that's awesome. That's what it's supposed to be about. Yeah.
Yeah. It's making, bourbon dreams come true for as many people as you can. Not just, hey, I can use this audience to make all my bourbon dreams come true. And that's not what I want, because I want to experience this stuff with other people.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, good show. I don't know. It's one of my favorites ever, actually. So this is good stuff. All right. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Kathy, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram, KK Cask Strength.
Old Man Bay.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm on all of them at Old Man Bay Signs.
Oh.
On Facebook, Instagram, YouTube under My Journey Through the American Spirits, and also Bourbon Sasquatch.
McNew.
I'm on Instagram at McNew ABV.
For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. Check it out, because everything that we do is out there. We put all of our previous shows. We got our blogs. We've got events, all kinds of cool stuff at abvnetwork.com. And hey, come by and see us. We're in Arnold, Missouri, which is a St. Louis suburb, at the ABV Barrel Shop. At a minimum, get signed up for our email distribution list at abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen, or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.